This prayer is for the man who carries everything alone. The man who wakes up already tired, not because he didn't sleep, but because his mind never truly rests. The man who keeps moving forward, not driven by motivation but by responsibility. Stopping has never felt like an option for him, only pushing through. God, tonight we bring before you a man who rarely complains. A man who learned early that strength was expected of him. A man who carries the weight of provision, leadership, and expectation in silence. He carries his family in every decision he makes. He carries his work long after the day has ended. He carries conversations he never finished, words he never spoke, and worries he never shared. Lord, you see the pressure hidden behind his calm expression. You see the exhaustion disguised as discipline. You see the nights where his body lies down but his thoughts refuse to slow. He doesn't ask for much. He doesn't demand answers. Most days he simply shows up, again and again, because others depend on him. Tonight, God, let this be a moment where he doesn't have to perform. A moment where he doesn't have to lead, decide, or solve. A moment where he doesn't have to carry anyone else's weight. Let him breathe here. Let him sit here without explanation. Let him exist without needing to be strong. You see him, Lord, even when no one else does. God, you know the silence this man lives in. Not the peaceful kind, but the quiet that comes from carrying too much for too long. He has learned to keep his thoughts to himself. To answer, I'm fine even when he isn't. To move through his days without making his weight visible. There are things he never says out loud. Fears he doesn't name. Questions he keeps buried because he doesn't want to burden anyone else. Lord, you see how often he listens but is rarely heard. How often he gives strength but receives very little rest in return. How often he becomes the stable ground for others while standing on unsteady ground himself. He has learned to solve problems instead of feeling them. To fix situations instead of sitting with emotions. To stay productive even when his soul is asking for a pause. God, tonight we ask you to enter that silence. Not to fill it with noise. Not to overwhelm it with answers. But to be present in it. Sit with him in the quiet places. Meet him in the thoughts he pushes aside. Let him know that silence does not mean absence, and that being quiet does not mean being alone. He may not speak much tonight. He may not even know what to ask for, but you already understand. God, you know the pressure this man lives under. The pressure to be steady. The pressure to be reliable. The pressure to never fall apart because too many people are leaning on him. He has learned that strength is expected, not requested. That stability is assumed, not appreciated. That weakness feels like a luxury he cannot afford. Lord, he carries the unspoken belief that if he slows down, everything might collapse. That if he admits he is tired, he might disappoint those who depend on him. So he tightens his grip and keeps going. Day after day. Decision after decision. He feels responsible not only for outcomes but for emotions. For peace in the home. For security at work. For holding things together when they feel close to breaking. God, you see how heavy that becomes. You see the toll it takes on his body, his thoughts, his sleep. You see how often he chooses endurance over honesty. Tonight, we ask you to loosen the grip he has on everything. Not because he has failed, but because he was never meant to carry it all alone. Remind him that strength does not disappear when he rests. That leadership does not vanish when he pauses. That being held is not the same as giving up. Let him set the weight down here. Even if only for a moment. You are strong enough to carry what he cannot. God, there are moments when rest feels undeserved to him. Moments when slowing down brings guilt instead of relief. When sitting still feels irresponsible. When peace feels like something he hasn't earned yet. He tells himself he'll rest later. After one more task. After one more problem is solved. After one more responsibility is secured. But later keeps moving further away. Lord, you see how he confuses rest with weakness. How he measures his worth by productivity. How silence makes him uncomfortable because it leaves space for thoughts he's been avoiding. He worries that if he stops, he will feel everything at once. the fatigue, the disappointment, the weight he's been carrying without noticing how heavy it has become. God, tonight we ask you to redefine rest for him, not as quitting, not as escape, but as trust. Teach him that rest is not a reward for finishing everything. It is a necessity for continuing with wisdom. That even you rested, not because you were tired, but because rest is part of design. Let him lay down the belief that he must earn peace. Let him receive it as a gift instead. Right here, right now, without guilt, without explanation. God, you know how the night affects him. When the noise of the day fades, and the weight he kept controlled begins to speak. His body lies down, but his mind stays alert, replaying conversations, revisiting decisions, questioning moments he thought were settled. He wonders if he did enough, if he chose right, if the path he's on will actually lead somewhere secure. Lord, these are not dramatic thoughts. They are quiet, persistent, and exhausting. They come without emotion, just pressure. He doesn't panic. He doesn't break down. He simply stays awake, thinking, calculating, carrying tomorrow before today has even ended. God, tonight we ask you to slow those thoughts, not by force, not by distraction, but by presence. Let him know that tomorrow does not depend solely on his ability to control it, that the future is not as fragile as he fears, that missing one answer tonight will not cause everything to fall apart. Quiet the inner dialogue that never rests. Replace constant evaluation with gentle reassurance. Let the mind that works so hard finally feel permission to stop working. If sleep comes, let it come naturally. If it doesn't, let peace still arrive. Be with him in the dark hours, not as urgency, but as calm. God, there is a fear he rarely admits, even to himself. Not the fear of failure alone, but the fear of letting others down. The fear that his best might not be enough. The fear that one wrong move could undo years of effort. He doesn't speak this fear. He manages it. He stays prepared, alert, and cautious. He believes that vigilance is responsibility, that relaxing his guard could invite loss. So he stays tense, even in moments meant for rest. Lord, you see how this fear shapes his decisions, how it pushes him to carry more than his share, how it convinces him that everything depends on him staying strong. Tonight, God, we bring that fear into the open, not to shame it, not to suppress it, but to place it in your hands. Remind him that provision does not come from constant control, that protection does not require endless tension, that his value is not measured by perfect outcomes. Let him feel safe enough to loosen his guard, safe enough to trust that you are attentive even when he is not, safe enough to believe that mistakes will not erase his worth. He has carried this fear quietly for a long time. Hold it with him now. God, letting go does not come easily to him. He has learned that holding on is what keeps things stable, that staying involved prevents damage, that stepping back feels dangerous. So when he hears words like surrender or release, his first instinct is caution, not peace. He wonders what will happen if he loosens his grip. Who will step in? What might be missed? What could quietly fall apart? Lord, you know how much of his identity is tied to being needed, to being the one others rely on, to being present, available, dependable at all times. Tonight, we ask you to show him a different picture of letting go, not as abandonment, not as neglect, but as trust that does not require collapse to be real. Teach him that releasing control does not erase responsibility, that stepping back does not mean stepping away, that trust can exist without everything unraveling. Let him practice letting go here, safely, of one worry, one outcome, one expectation, not all at once, just enough to breathe. Remind him that the world does not rest solely on his shoulders, that you remain present even when he is not managing every detail, that nothing important is lost when you are involved. Let this be a moment where nothing falls apart, where rest does not lead to regret, where trust does not feel reckless. Stay with him as he loosens his grip. God, This man is used to being the one who holds others. He listens. He supports. He absorbs tension so others don't have to. But rarely is he the one being held. He has learned to stand firm even when he feels unsure, to offer reassurance even when he needs it himself, to stay composed because others look to him for stability. Lord, tonight we ask you to reverse that role for a moment. Let him be the one who does not have to lead, the one who does not have to explain, the one who does not have to stay alert. Let him feel what it is like to be supported without conditions, to be present without responsibility, to be still without consequence. Remind him that being held does not diminish his strength, that receiving care does not make him weak, that leaning does not mean collapsing. He has carried so many people through difficult seasons. Now carry him through this quiet moment. Let his shoulders relax. Let his breathing slow. Let the weight shift, even slightly. He doesn't need to solve anything right now. He doesn't need to prepare for what comes next. He only needs to remain here, with you, God. There is a quiet realization he rarely allows himself to face, that life continues even when he pauses, that the world does not stop when he rests, that not everything depends on his constant attention. This thought can feel unsettling, almost threatening, because for so long, his vigilance has felt necessary for stability. Lord, tonight we ask you to gently reshape that belief. Show him that what truly matters is sustained not by his exhaustion, but by your faithfulness. That what he cares for is not as fragile as his fear suggests. That his absence for a moment does not equal neglect. Teach him that trust is not passive. It is an active choice to believe that you are working beyond his reach. That outcomes are not suspended when he steps back. That grace continues even when effort pauses. Let him see that resting does not erase his contribution. It honors it. That stepping away briefly does not undo what he has built. It preserves him to continue wisely. God, help him release the belief that constant strain equals commitment. Replace it with the assurance that faithfulness can coexist with rest. That responsibility does not require burnout. Let him trust that you remain attentive through the night. That nothing important is overlooked. That he can sleep without guarding every outcome. Even now, things are being held. God, tonight we come to the end of striving. Not the end of responsibility. Not the end of effort. But the end of needing to prove worth through constant endurance. This man has carried enough for one day. He has given enough. He has held enough. Now let him rest without justification, without conditions, without the quiet voice telling him he should be doing more. Remind him that his value does not rise or fall with productivity, that being still does not erase his strength, that rest does not diminish the man he is becoming. God, cover him with a sense of safety that does not depend on control. Let his mind settle into trust. Let his body recognize permission to relax. If sleep comes, let it be deep and unforced. If it doesn't, let peace still remain. Either way, let him know he is not failing by resting. Tonight, nothing needs to be fixed. Nothing needs to be decided. Nothing needs to be carried. You are holding what he set down. You are present in the quiet. You are working beyond his awareness. Let this be enough for now. Amen.